being an active listener when it comes to listening to other speeches is very important. If you're not an active listener, or you don't take the speech seriously or listen seriously, then you're not going to be able to comprehend what's going on, and you're not going to be able to point out important facts of that speech. Another thing is you have to resist distractions. A lot of time people are paying attention to what the speech giver is wearing, or they are paying attention to how they're actually presenting, like maybe their hand gestures. That can be a problem. If you're paying attention to those things, then you can miss what points the speech giver is trying to make. You are too busy being distracted about what the person's wearing or their hand gestures to understand what is going on. And that also brings out, the fact, don't be diverted by appearance or the way the speech is delivered. You should also suspend your judgment. You should actually let the speech giver present their speech, and don't judge them before they're done with the speech. Try to understand what point they're trying to make and where they're coming from before you prejudge. Don't say, well, he's a bigot or he doesn't know what he's talking about. Let them finish and then make your judgment. Then you'll be able to, of course, make your judgment and be able to have time to think and process what the speech giver has presented to you. You should always focus on your listening. If you're not focused on listening, if you're focused on other things such as a baseball game or a concert that's coming up, you're going to miss what's going on. You're not going to be able to, once again, comprehend what's going on, and you're not going to be able to make any type of judgment at the end of the speech. Also, you should develop note-taking. By taking notes, you should write down keywords, key facts. Just forget the sub-details and get all of the main points and write them down. What's really important, what's really the big picture. Also, all speeches have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion, just like an essay. The only thing with speeches is that you're not going to present it as an essay. You're not going to just read it from paper, word from word. You need to at least mesmerize, at least know what you're talking about before presenting your speech. So that goes into delivering your speech. Speaking extemporaneously, meaning that you're taking careful preparation in your speeches. You are writing down a manuscript, trying to mesmerize what the key facts are before you present it. You should always organize your speech. You should also rehearse your speech, meaning that you should at least take, I would say, an hour or two to sit down, read over what you have written or read, and present it in front of another person, maybe a family member or friend, and get their judgment on that before presenting to someone. Presenting your speech, meaning that you should probably start, of course, starting your speech, you should use gestures such as hand gestures instead of staying still. It's better that way. It's kind of like you're having a conversation with the audience without them actually responding back to what you're saying. You should always have eye contact, which is very important. You should also be able to speak clearly and distinctly so that the people can hear you. And you should also deal with your nerves. Being nervous is always going to be there. At some point it may go away, but when starting off, nervousness is going to be there. But you have to deal with your nerves. Maybe try to grip your hands, take a couple deep breaths before presenting your speech, and you should be fine. And then if you can't even make eye contact with the crowd, you should at least find some type of focus point and just focus on that. Maybe looking over their shoulders, past them, and just focus on what you're presenting. Chapters 3 and 4 were great. It was very easy to follow along. It really gave some great pointers on presenting your speech, organizing your speech, and on critical thinking and listening. I really enjoyed reading those chapters, and they were very helpful in presenting my speech, and I am going to use some of those points in the near future when presenting my speeches. So thank you for listening, and that's it. Bye-bye.